I'm sure that house just blew up whenever it hit it. This truck was sitting over here to my left, about 30, 40 feet. It was headed south, and that tornado picked it up, turned it around, and threw it down here on its side. You look at something, a warning, and you think, well, it'll never happen to me. You know, it'll happen to everybody else, but it doesn't happen to me. But sometimes it comes home to me. This is a bathroom. This is a bedroom right here to your left, and this is another bedroom in here. I think everything's destroyed, yeah. We got a few things out of the cabinets and stuff, but all the stuff in there is destroyed. What the tornado didn't take, the rain come in on it last night. We've got good neighbors and good friends. It's a good community to live in, and supportive people that live in this community. We've had many people to come by and want to help us clean up. So we'll get through it. The people just they're pretty close knit, and we love each other, and it's great to have friends like that. We'll probably build back. But it'll take a long time. This was the fireplace over there. This was our living quarters. The kitchen is over there. My Heavenly Father, He always comforts us in time of trouble, and I'm thankful for that. If I would have been here, I think mine and her lives would have been taken. You couldn't possibly look at this and not be amazed the power that was in that storm. We're glad to be alive, you know, and things could be worse.
But it will have two coats.
I like that.
Some days last longer than others.
I'm gonna just straighten it and do some kind of braid.
For sisters Marin and Zoe, this is one that will likely last forever.
I'm gonna do this teal blue and then silver sparkles.
They're getting the star treatment at Identity Salon and Spa in South County.
So it's gonna be like a French braid here, a French braid there, connect them with the fishtail.
It's not often that girls ages 9 and 13 get pampered like this. And the truth is, what will stick is not the hairspray,
Cheese.
but the reason this is all happening.
We're doing this for my dad.
Dad is 42-year-old Charlie Quentis.
I think anybody who knows Charlie would say that he's kind and patient.
The dog's just like part of the family.
He's also the type that lives for today without worrying about tomorrow. Not that he was given the choice.
I can remember exactly where I was sitting, and just the weight of the world all of a sudden felt on our shoulders.
Charlie was diagnosed with oligodendroglioma, a brain tumor. After years of surgeries, scans, and sickness, he recently stopped all treatment.
And I just decided, and my family backed me on it, that this, you know, it was time to quit. You know, quality versus quantity.
To that end, the entire family packed up the car and went on a 3-week vacation all over the western United States.
Why do you think this was important for all of you to be going together?
To spend time with each other.
Yeah? And did you get to enjoy that?
I feel like we're building a bank of memories that will last a lifetime, that have to last a lifetime.
But when the girls started realizing that their dad probably wouldn't be around for graduations, proms, or weddings, a nonprofit called Annie's Hope stepped in.
Annie's Hope is an organization that's trying to help kids heal.
Annie's Hope has counseled countless grieving children.
Wow.
And they came up with a plan to give the girls
Which one do you think you're gonna wear?
a page for the scrapbook of their memories.
I won't be able to walk them down the aisle at the weddings, but yes, I will get this.
After putting on the glitz at the salon, the girls came home to put on some new dresses. And with Dad in his tuxedo, they all climbed into a shiny black limo.
They're getting pampered. I hope they don't get too used to it.
And a smile.
The first stop was for photos, to capture this moment in time. Then onto the grounds of the famed Westboro Country Club.
Thank you.
Okay, you're quite welcome.
Awaiting them a delicious dinner with privacy, and then something with poignancy. Their very own father-daughter dance.
It's like overwhelming. I feel like, you know, pinch me, I'm in a dream.
Don't cry. I'm just crying because I'm happy.
And then a moment that proves there's nothing bigger than a
nice.
dad's love for his little girls.
You girls are the light of my life. And you've proven to me that you're so strong and wise beyond your years. And if you do get married, I'd like you to choose someone that makes you feel special.
Doctors can't make Charlie Quentis' tumor disappear, but for one night, it did.
We always talk about keeping me in their hearts. You know, I'm gonna live on in their hearts.
A night never to be forgotten for a family that wants to always remember.
They're the light of my life.
You are fine.
It's the type of job
Animal neglect, animal abuse.
where every day is a new adventure.
Oh my God! We do have one deceased animal, one animal that's still alive.
It keeps you on your toes.
I'm surprised every week at the calls that we get.
And sometimes forces you to crawl on the ground,
That one's a runt.
never knowing where you'll end up
Stop, ma'am!
or what will be waiting when you get there. It's all in a day's work for animal cop Ann McLaughlin. And on this day, you're along for the ride.
Headed to a possible abandonment call.
McLaughlin is chief investigator for the St. Louis Division of the Humane Society of Missouri's Animal Cruelty Task Force. The task force, made up of 10 people, investigates things like animal fighting, puppy mills, neglect, and
A person hitting or kicking, physically abusing an animal.
Our first call with McLaughlin, though, is more routine, checking on a couple of dogs that might not have proper food, water, or shelter. But before we get there,
Okay, change of plans.
a demonstration of how fluid this job is.
2 dogs locked in a hot car, and one of them is already deceased.
In this blazing hot vehicle on Blair Avenue,
Reading anywhere from 109 to 111, up to 113, 120.
McLaughlin finds a male pit bull mix dead inside. Cops already rescued the other dog who's hot and bothered. It's McLaughlin's job to take the dogs and document the scene.
Oh, it's fine.
She and other investigators like her work with police and prosecutors who decide if a case warrants charges. In this instance, police interview the upset owner, who says his ex had the dogs. They were left in the car about 6 hours earlier.
Unfortunately, it happens all too often.
Thank you for calling the Humane Society of Missouri.
All the animal abuse calls statewide
At least, 100 or more a day.
pour into the headquarters on Macklin Avenue.
This is not adequate.
Okay.
Investigators are dispatched to those worth checking out. The task force's reach is far and wide.
Her body condition score is 5.
On the day we were there, 73 dogs it was instrumental in rescuing from a breeder in southwest Missouri came in. And a couple of years ago, the Humane Society's Animal Cruelty Task Force played a major role in what's believed to be the largest dogfighting raid in U.S. history. More than 500 pit bulls were rescued, 26 alleged dogfighters arrested across the country.
So she cannot stay out here like this.
While not every day is a headline, to McLaughlin, every day is an opportunity to educate.
My goal is not to take people's animals away from them. It's to keep animals in safe, adequate homes.
Well, you have a good day.
I can't wait for the day that we don't need an animal cruelty task force anymore.
Mike Rush, News Channel 5 cover story.
So how you feel about writing a song today?
There's a new rhythm at Cardinal Glennon Children's Medical Center.
You can do
And it
it.
has young patients singing a different tune.
You can get through it.
It feeds her soul. It really does.
And do it in style.
7-year-old Ariana Dugan is writing a song with music therapist Tracy Sanheinrich.
And it's just using that art of distraction to keep their mind off of what they're going through here in the hospital.
What Ariana is going through is yet another round of chemotherapy. Children are supposed to be born in hospitals, but Ariana has practically grown up in one.
She was 2.5, and she started having leg pain.
After months of tests, doctors delivered the devastating diagnosis: neuroblastoma stage 4.
Your legs start to buckle, and it's the worst thing you want to hear.
Neuroblastoma is a ruthless cancer that begins in the nerve cells and usually spreads to other parts of the body before it's discovered. Since she was 3 years old, the Bob Costas Cancer Center here at Cardinal Glennon has been Ariana's home away from home, including today. She's been through 23 rounds of chemotherapy.
We don't talk about the big picture, and we don't talk about what's going to happen the next time, and we just try to talk about how we're going to get you better.
You excited? Me too.
So today, while getting chemo,
So should we get started?
Ariana is working with Tracy.
What do you think that you would say to them?
As part of a program through Maryville University.
You can do it.
Called Kids Rock Cancer.
You can get through it.
Our theory is medicine heals the body, music heals the soul.
What was a secret way that you did take medicine?
During a 2-hour session, the music therapist helps the patient express her own thoughts about what she's been going through.
So if you have to take medicines,
do it inside.
Okay.
Those thoughts then become lyrics to an original composition.
If you have to take medicines, do it in style.
They get to pick and choose. Do they want their song to be fast, slow? Do they want it to be rock and roll or country sounding?
Ariana decided that the name of her song should be You Can Get Through It.
You can get through it.
What do you want people to know about this?
That they can get through it.
They can get through it? Get through what?
Cancer.
After writing the song, they sing and record it.
You can get through it.
When lyrics come from the heart, they often touch yours.
You can get through it.
That was wonderful.
And when the session is over, Ariana gets a CD to take home and play anytime she wants.
The song is about helping other people, and I'm really proud of her for being able to share what she knows.
I'm going to think about the song and other kids that have cancer. You can do it.
No one knows what tomorrow will bring, but clearly today brought joy and accomplishment for Ariana. Kids Rock Cancer, providing a great escape and a sense of harmony, a treatment that's hitting all the right notes.
Good job. You can get through it. Good job.
It allows her to feel loved.
High five. Double high five. You are awesome.
Good morning.
For more than 50 years now, Silver Dollar City has been a staple of the Branson, Missouri vacation experience. And yet somehow, after all this time,
Thank you.
Visitors are still racing to be first to the gate. And of course, none of them ever will be. Because every day, Cooper St. John beats him to it.
I walk track every day, 5 days a week.
Cooper is one of a few who makes sure the thrills we chase keep running.
You can see where the track passes over above us.
Every morning before the crowds arrive, before many have even bought their tickets, Cooper walks the length of a coaster called Outlaw Run.
My job basically in the mornings is to inspect the track. So I'm making sure that the track all looks intact, all the bolts are there, and then looking at the structure to make sure, again, bolts are there, and none of the wood is cracking in a unreasonable manner.
It's while looking for the unsafe, he finds the displaced.
I said this here looks like the screen to a cell phone. However, the rest of the cell phone, I have not seen it. It's funny because I find patterns. I find phones in the certain spots. Got some destroyed eyeglasses here. Find wallets, keys, always in the same spot because of the way the coaster goes. So we just found a pink headband.
And while by now he's gotten used to taking up the more typically tossed treasures, occasionally a discovery will stand out.
One day I was walking track and I actually found a hair wig under one of our airtime hills.
Anything that you might have in your pockets that's loose, it'll come out, I promise.
Bo Langston has been working for SDC for the better part of 20 years. His pick for the most pocket-robbing ride?
I would say powder keg, because that's what I worked on for several years.
But to be fair, Langston says every ride is capable of a good shakedown.
The craziest thing we usually come across is knives. When they fall off the trains, they'll open up. We found knives stuck in trees and in different spots. Yeah.
Many are good for a gross out, too.
Dead animals. I can remember one time we found a squirrel that had been run over by one of the roller coasters.
And now with the world's fastest, tallest, steepest spinning coaster on site.
You know, we have a lot of people that get sick on that ride.
You can imagine what else they find.
One of the nastiest things we find, too, vomit.
If you lose something on the ride, you fill out a slip.
So, while most of the time it's nothing you'd miss too much,
All right, it's got some hats here, sunglasses.
if something of value does turn up,
Lots of hats on this one.
rest assured it's instantly turned in.
They're labeled by different days of the month.
Each item is held until the date on its box is repeated.
So we got looks like a cooler.
Meaning anything you lose will be tucked away safely, giving you time to enjoy one more ride.
Good. Pretty good.
Ready, go!
Every summer on fields across America, the sounds of happy can be seen.
Are you ready? No, I am ready.
The game of baseball brings joy to any kid that loves to hit or throw. But on these fields in St. Peter's, it's also about opportunity and heart.
And then you're going to step and you're going to roll the ball.
This is the fantasy baseball camp for the deaf and hard of hearing.
They're not singled out here. When they come to camp here, they are just like everybody else.
11-year-old Paige Hall has been wearing hearing aids since she was 3.
It was tough. I would say the first two weeks I did a lot of crying.
Sometimes it just embarrassed me sometimes that I'm the only one in my class that wears hearing aids.
Come on, get those knees up, go!
But Paige says she never feels embarrassed at camp. For the last 4 years, instead of sticking out because of her disability, she gets to stand out because of her ability.
Good job!
Then you get to realize that other people are like you too. Hi.
More than 50 campers spend the week learning the game from almost as many volunteer coaches.
Next time when they hit the ball, you need to run to second.
With the help of interpreters, the message of how to play and have fun comes through loud and clear.
Open your glove really wide and then close it.
Really, it's the baseball and catching the ball. I like catching and hitting.
The camp started more than 20 years ago because of an 8-year-old boy who was deaf and loved baseball and just didn't have anywhere to play.
Go, go!
Now, because it meant so much to some,
Will you use your helmet?
former campers are coming back to be counselors.
It made a difference in my life, so I want to make a difference in the kid's life too.
Show me what you got, Jesse. Good one. See, there you go.
Even Paige's mom
Do you need help?
decided to become a volunteer coach.
I thought, this is silly for me to sit back and just watch. Why don't I help out?
It's scheduled for only 1 week every year, but for these kids, this camp lasts much longer.
We look forward to it 360 days out of the year.
There we go.
Kids just being kids at the fantasy baseball camp, where the game never sounded so good.
It's hard to describe how amazing it is.
Good job. That's my boy.
There are no U-turns on the road to Rushville, Illinois. But you can turn back the clock.
It's like stepping back in time.
120 miles and decibels from St. Louis, this Mayberry of the Midwest appears to be from a simpler time. But in this century or the last, one thing has always been certain. The doctor is in.
Hi. Hi. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Russell Donor has been the town doctor since 1955. Long past the age when most people are seeing their retirement benefits, Doc Donor is still seeing patients. And just like it's always been, the office is open 7 days a week.
Even on Sunday, I felt like there'd be always somebody that was sick. So before I go to church, I would come here.
When he began his practice,
Dr. Donuts.
calls were taken on a rotary phone,
Records.
and patient records were kept on index cards. And they still are. There are no appointments.
It's your throat.
No matter your ailment, it's first come, first served.
I don't always do it myself, but I can ears hurt? Refer them to somebody that can do it.
A graduate of Northwestern University Medical School, he came back home to follow in the footsteps of the doctor who took care of him when he was once ill as a child.
And when I'd come to, Dr. Hamilton was there, and I decided as a boy, I'm going to be like Dr. Hamilton. You get an earache?
Yeah, I lost it.
Through the years, Doc Donor has mended all sorts of pains and sprains.
Yep, you broke your arm, didn't you?
And he's delivered more babies than the population of Rushville. And among the 3,500 or so is Lynn Stambaugh.
There's 4 in my family, and he delivered all 4 of us.
Stambaugh is now the CEO of Culbertson Regional Hospital,
Let me see your throat.
where Doc begins and ends every day, unless he's making a house call.
My older sister had seizures, and Mom said after she'd have them, she would kind of be out of it. He would come and sit at her crib all night.
You know, he doesn't set the standard for technology, but he doesn't need a pager because we know where he is.
Gary Moreland runs the Moreland Debit Pharmacy, just up the block from Doc's office.
And he's seen it all 5 times. You know, he's seen so many patients, and he just, through experience, can recognize and diagnose.
It was for 40 of them, QID, PC, and HS.
Like all physicians, Doc has to complete additional training every few years to keep up with changes. But his nurses never change, nor the furniture, nor the price of a visit.
Seems like a bargain today.
He still only charges $5. That's not a copay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's the price.
Feeling better.
I do too.
You know, frankly, I've never spent much money going on trips or things like that.
No one in Rushville can remember the last time Dr. Donor took a vacation. And with good reason. In 57 years of practice, he's never taken one.
I'd like to go out and see the mountains in Colorado. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, that would be nice. When are you going to do that?
When I can.
In the town square, there are plaques to honor those who served our country. Doc wore the uniform in World War II, but it's his service to his community that engraved his name into the heart of Rushville.
I guess you could call him a local hero.
But don't mention hero to Doc Donor. He has no time for it.
Pretty good.
He's got too many patients to see as he continues to make the past very much a present.
I guess I don't know what I'd be doing if I wasn't doctoring.
It's a position
Hi, I've locked my keys in my car.
just about all of us
I've locked myself out.
have been in. But these young ladies are News Channel 5 interns, part of our undercover investigation. What I'm really wanting to know is...
Well, we're finished.
Why are we finished?
Because I'm not talking to you.
But customers of Run Local Locksmith are talking and complaining to 5 on Your Side and the Better Business Bureau. Customers like Karen Lund.
I grabbed the wrong keys when I was leaving the house.
After finding them online at her neighbor's, Run Local Locksmith, boasting unbeatable prices, was on the way.
I thought $50, $75, maybe $100 at the most.
But the final price?
$235.
That's right.
I really don't remember exactly what I said. I probably thought something unkind.
Charges of price gouging, too, from people who've used Run Local to pop locks on their cars. Ben Anderson is a licensed locksmith in the Belleville area and a member of the Associated Locksmiths of America. His rate to unlock a car,
In general, it'd be $50 charge.
other locksmiths quoted us slightly higher prices, $65 to $75. Which brings us back to our undercover experiment to see how much Run Local Locksmith would charge us. On 2 different days, the interns each put keys in their purses, locked them in our Ford Escape, and called Run Local,
Do you guys have a locksmith that's available to come out right away?
which boasts fantastic quick response time. After waiting more than an hour and a half on one day,
Yeah, they're right there in my purse on the seat.
this guy showed up and quickly seemed to lay the groundwork for an inflated bill on this basic job.
These are not easy ones.
Oh no, so they're hard to get into?
Yeah. I was supposed to be off today, but, I was on call for, emergency service or whatever.
His price?
Okay, looks like what we have here, the emergency lockout service call is $49. Then to open the vehicle is $140.
$189.
I'm getting pretty upset watching this.
Remember, licensed locksmith Anderson charges $50.
This guy charged $189. Yeah, that's insane. There's no way to justify that.
Wow, I need to get in this business.
After about 3 minutes and a little help from our intern,
Hold that up, just like that. The glare is good.
Do I get a discount?
the door was open.
Yay!
And your keys.
All right.
Hi, my name is Mike Rush. I'm with 5 on Your Side.
Yeah.
We wanted to ask you about your billing practices today. The man, named John, says he's with a company called Able Locksmith, which works with Run Local. The day before, another guy, also sent by Run Local, charged $125 for the same job on the same car. And you charged $189.
Right? It's considered emergency lockout service, what I got the call from.
Who told you it was an emergency?
That I was on call for emergency call.
How is a customer supposed to know if you're on call for emergency call, for emergency rates, or whether you're a regular locksmith?
I don't have all the questions. All right, you're gonna have to leave me alone now.
Well, we're in a public area. I'm trying to find out, are you cheating your customers?
No.
John originally charged $49 for Run Local's advertised $15 service fee.
I haven't seen the advertisement. I don't know what you're talking about.
He eventually knocked the bill down to $150 and took our cash.
It makes me sick that they take advantage of customers like that.
So what do you think's going on here with this company?
Rip off.
Any parting words, John?
No thanks.
So a warning, she hopes you'll remember about this company with questionable pricing. Any last thing you want to say to us? Mike Rush.
Nope.
5 on your side.
Denver, Colorado is called the Mile High City. But for Frank and Jamie Bruno, it's 850 miles from home.
I grew up in St. Louis.
The Brunos moved here last October. They say to save their daughter's life. Grace was diagnosed with a form of epilepsy when she was just 5 months old. She's been suffering through as many as 300 seizures a day.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, there's nothing worse than seeing your perfect little baby have seizures.
Every seizure caused trauma to her brain and stunted her development. A hospital room became as familiar as the family living room.
Well, from there, it was just a series of different medications that we tried.
Nothing worked.
Nothing worked.
Then, after doing months of research, the Bruno family learned about a strain of marijuana that has been helping other kids with intractable seizures. It's called Charlotte's Web, which has very high levels of cannabidiol, or CBD, and very low levels of THC, the psychoactive ingredient found in recreational marijuana. So a child taking this is not going to get high?
No, you would have to take a really, really extraordinary dose to feel much in the way of psychotropic effect.
In here, by next spring, be able to produce 500,000 plants.
Jesse Stanley and his brothers created Charlotte's Web on their medical marijuana farm in Colorado Springs, and they're about to open a new lab in Boulder. Their Realm of Caring nonprofit foundation provides cannabis oil to children, but by law, to get it, you have to be a resident of Colorado.
I was kind of like, that's really extreme. I was like, I don't want to leave my family and my support system.
But St. Louisans Matt and Jenny Jesse felt they were out of options for their 2-year-old daughter, June.
Oh, there you go.
So they too decided to move to Colorado after doctors wanted to retry one of the 14 medications they had already prescribed.
We just decided that instead of trying something that we've already tried and failed, we were going to try something new.
Over the last 16 months, more than 200 families have moved here to Colorado, looking for the hope they haven't been able to find anywhere else.
Grace gets about this much.
As an oil extract, each dose comes in liquid form, which Grace swallows 3 times a day. The Brunos now call it a marijuana miracle.
And that's it. We haven't seen a seizure in 24 days. It's the longest we've ever gone. We've never even been 1 day.
There you go, Ladybug.
As for June, the Jessies assert she's gone from 40 to 50 seizures a day
There you go. Hello.
to just 5. And they've only been on the oil for 2 months.
I want people to know that this has changed June's life.
Of course, not every family has the ability to move halfway across the country.
This is the one you like.
And for those who do, there is no going back. Not for Thanksgiving or even Christmas.
We can't cross state lines with her medication or we're considered criminals.
But for right now, the journey for these families is not about what they've lost, but what they've found. Hundreds of miles from St. Louis, home is quite simply hope.
You see them in pain, you'll do anything to help them.
At Central Elementary in Union, Missouri, the best teachers may just be 2 students.
Hi, Mr. Camera.
They are both
individually incredible.
First graders Vincent Butterfield and Zach Gossage are very good friends and often very silly.
Why does the chicken cross the playground?
Why?
To get to the other slide.
But recently, there wasn't a lot to laugh about.
It was terrifying.
Last June, after feeling ill and tired for weeks, Zach was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, a fast-growing cancer of the white blood cells.
As a parent, you want to make sure that nothing bad ever happens to your child, and when something does, you want to be able to fix it. And I couldn't.
Still, while everybody around him took it hard, Zach took it in stride. Despite frequent trips to the hospital, he almost never missed a day of school.
Because I get to play with Vincent outside at recess.
As for Vincent, he started asking questions and learning about cancer.
It's when your white blood cell and your red blood cell fight.
Then he learned that Zach's treatments were expensive.
We had been making these scarves just like this, and he just kind of said it would be cool if we could make a whole bunch of these and sell them.
He sold more than 20, earning a couple of $100.
You raised $200? That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and who did you give it to?
Zach.
Vincent also found out that Zach might lose his hair because of the chemotherapy treatments.
I have a dream.
So one day he showed up to Mrs. Kester's first grade class wearing a stocking cap.
And he said, Mrs. Kester, I have a surprise for Zach. And I said, well, you do? And he said, yes, I do. And he pulls off his stocking cap, and here I see that he shaved his head.
I cut it off.
You cut off your hair? How come?
To make Zach feel like he's not the only one without any hair.
Come on in.
Zach continues to get treatments and continues to come to school every day.
He comes in and you say, how are you? And he says, fine.
And Vincent? Well, he may be young, but he's teaching us the oldest lessons.
What is friendship? What is friendship?
A beautiful thing.
Indeed it is.
Hi, hi, hi.
Clearly, wisdom doesn't always come with age.
Okay. Let's go.
In this small backyard studio, you can find recording equipment, talented musicians, and a whole lot of compassion. This is Sidetrack Studios, which has been a home away from home for local talent ever since Mike Earhart opened it up.
I had a couple rooms that were vacant, and I built a little studio.
They'll come here to work on one project or another, although lately it's actually been just one project.
Musicians are a breed, and we try to take care of each other. When somebody calls, we go.
Today, they're laying down the final tracks of an album composed by a local songwriter. They're finishing the work because he no longer can.
It's our big hug.
Okay.
Our big hug of the day.
56-year-old Paul Orso has ALS.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome.
I noticed that I started walking with a limp.
It started almost 3 years ago. Orso was an avid marathoner and a successful businessman who married his high school sweetheart. The diagnosis was devastating.
Took our breath away, and just kind of life just stopped right there.
We'll see if I can do it.
Also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS is a rapidly progressive neuromuscular disease, and there is no cure. But feeling sorry for himself is not in Paul Orso's nature.
Yeah, he's Pollyanna with testosterone.
So with Kathy's encouragement, Orso decided to face the music, literally. He's been writing songs since he was 12 years old, with subjects like life, laughter, and love. So this was for someone in particular?
I was dating a girl at the time.
He's been married to that girl for 36 years. And now, with time casting its heavy shadow, she thought it was about time to get those songs recorded.
So he came over and he said, well, you know, I probably got about 2 years to live. And I'm like, what?
Earhart not only opened up the doors to his studio, he helped recruit other local musicians.
Oh my gosh, they're beautiful people.
While he was still strong, Orso recorded his voice. And then together they all produced the soundtrack of his life. The name of the album is Beyond Words, and for the Orsos, it truly is.
Just remember there's a thought, an endless wanting for you.
I just had chills from my head, top of my hairs to the bottom of my toes.
It's an incredible thing. It exceeds anything I ever imagined.
Making music and making a difference.
To understand.
It may never reach the top of the charts, but this is one album that's already hit all the right notes.
You know what? He'll live on forever. He'll live forever in that music.